Speaking of Eurovision fans, welcome back to That Eurovision Site. Joining me today is Mauro Jones, who is one of the finalists in this year's Pabandom, Lithuania's selection show for Eurovision 2023 in Liverpool. Labas, Svika Atovica, how are you today?
I'm good, Lavas. I'm good. I'm glad to be here. How are you?
I'm great, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
So
you for having
just
me.
just as a little icebreaker, can for those of us in our audience who are not that familiar with your work, can you just tell us a little bit more about you and your musical history?
Yeah, my musical history is not long as a solo act and a recording artist as Mario Junes. I've released my first single about 2 years ago, I believe. Yeah, so since then I've released several other songs. Yeah, I'm mostly a composer, a songwriter. I do not produce my own music. I work with various producers. Um, and I don't know what else to say. It's always hard to talk about myself, you know, that's like the hardest topic for me. But yeah, whatever questions you have, let's go ahead.
Sure. So just also as an icebreaker, can you tell us something that our viewers wouldn't know about you?
I
The
think the
more
biggest
random, the
shock.
better.
Oh, okay. The most random fact I think about me is that I am a huge Nicki Minaj fan. I'm a Barb, and she also follows me on Twitter as well. So so that's the fun fact that nobody ever like expects from me.
I definitely wouldn't have expected that one either. Um, um, so you've been confirmed as a participant for a good amount of time for you, amount of time. So what have been your biggest surprise since being announced as part of Pabandom, and like how has it felt to interact with like the Lithuanian fan community and the international one in general?
It's definitely fun. To be honest, I really enjoy the international fan community because they are really enthusiastic. They have lots of questions, like these were like curious, random questions about like random things of my life as a person, not only as an artist. And I think it's really fun. It's a good communication. I always have a great vibe from people all over the world who are enthusiastic about Eurovision because I think in itself, like if a person is really enthusiastic about Eurovision, I just know that they're fun. They have a good spirit because Eurovision is mostly about that, like having fun, like love, peace, and all of those things, you know.
Do you think that you embody those traits as well?
I think I do. I really try to be as laid back as possible, as honest with myself and the world surrounding me as possible. So yeah, I think I fit in.
That'd be a good fit to the Eurovision community then. So moving on to like Pam Damashnaya itself, what made you want to enter this year? And as you've just said, you were more previously a composer, prior to becoming a singer. What made you submit the song as a singer rather than a composing for someone else?
No, I think I have not expressed myself correctly. I was never a composer for other people. I just very recently started composing music as a fall because before that I was just singing covers. I've been a
Ah,
singer
see,
since
sorry.
I was yeah, I've been a singer since I was 13, I'd say. Yeah, so it's like 12 years now, almost half my life. So yeah, I only recently started composing music. That's what I meant. So back to your question, I think the decision to participate in Pabandom was quite organic. I, I I always kind of knew that I wanted to participate at some point in my life. I just never knew with what song. And as the right song came along, as we started producing "Do What You Do," it was quite obvious that it was I was ready to try it out. Yeah.
So talking about your experience on the show itself, so the show is very long in Eurovision selection shows with three televised rounds. How does that make you feel as an artist with all those different stages? Do you feel there's pressure to perform perfectly each time, or do you like that there's feedback?
Uh, sorry. I do enjoy the feedback. There's a little bit of pressure. For me personally, it's not the pressure of performing it perfectly each time, but it's always expected. Something is always expected with each round. Something more, something different. The viewers or the jury, they always expect like a little bit of a twist. And for me personally, that's like the biggest obstacle because I do believe that I came well prepared for the very first performance of mine. So it was hard to think of something that could be changed like drastically. So we focus more on like perfecting it rather than making big changes.
So there's nothing really going to change from the semifinals to the final. It's more just polishing that you're
Yeah, it's
doing.
more polishing. Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
were there any moments though where you did consider letting into the pressure and going for a drastic change, or were you always set on keeping the format?
Yeah, there were moments where I was thinking whether do I need a dancer, do I need like bigger props, something like that. But I just chose to stay focused on the things that I find the most important, which is like the song itself, clean, good vocals, and overall uh clean aesthetic and like something that's pleasant to watch.
So moving on to some of your other music. So compared to some of your other songs like Spalvos, Camino, or Shallow Waters, which are more a more mellow tone,
Yeah.
Do What You Do is a bit more energetic. What sort of prompted this shift? And were you consciously writing something a bit more energetic to use the for lack of a better word when writing the song for Eurovision, or was
Yeah.
it
No,
just natural?
I didn't write the song for Eurovision. The song came out absolutely naturally, like just one evening chilling at home. I just sat by my keyboard and started playing something, and it just naturally came out. I didn't expect it because me myself, I'm naturally more of a mellow guy. Yeah, but it came out. I was really happy about the way it turned out. Because it's a different side of me that's also part of me. It's not like I'm being something that I'm not with that kind of energy. It's definitely still a part of me. So yeah, I'm happy about it.
And some of your earlier songs when you were doing your covers, there was a lot more like piano ballads and
Yeah.
guitar, like soft guitar songs. But of course, your newer music is it's R&B. So what sort of prompted that shift? Was yes, what prompted it?
Uh, kind of, I think it was like a conscious decision that I wanted to go into a clear direction with the music that I create. I wanted to be more so produced, which naturally brings more of a heavier instrumental to the songs. I wanted it to have like a proper beat. That is why I worked with some of the most known producers here in Lithuania, which I'm truly happy about. And yeah, it just came naturally because I had to think of myself as an artist and what I want my sound to be. Of course, I'm still finding my sound and I'm still figuring it out because I've only released like what 4 songs. That's not a lot compared to some of the other contestants, for example, that are also competing. But yeah, it just kind of came out naturally. Of course, I do sometimes think of maybe recording some of the songs, an acoustic version for some of the songs, which I think is definitely in the plans for the future.
Um, as you brought up some of the other singers who have more releases, did you feel a bit intimidated going into the final with other these musicians, or was that not really a factor to you?
It's definitely a factor. It's not so much a factor to myself, as it is for like probably the viewers, because a known face, a familiar face, is an advantage, I believe. For me, there was a lot of feedback and comments, in a sense that who is this guy? Where has he been? Which is also an advantage and a disadvantage, advantage in the same sense. But no, I was not intimidated. I'm always happy to work with professionals and share the stage with professionals. It's always like a learning possibility.
So moving on to Eurovision itself, what would you say is your earliest memory of the contest?
I think my earliest memory is, was it 2006? I believe when Lordi won. Was that the year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the first like major memory that set in my brain. I was like what 9 or 8 years old. I was a little kid, and that performance like was definitely something different for the Eurovision stage at the time. So I would definitely mention that as the first.
So are there any sort of like Eurovision acts or that have influenced you in your music in any way, or just any that you particularly like love?
I not only in Eurovision but in music overall, like there's nothing more beautiful for me than a especially a female voice, a powerful female voice singing like a ballad or something soft, something emotional. Uh, that's why for me that's always like the most beautiful thing that I could watch or listen to. So definitely like Loreen with Euphoria blew my mind away and blew probably everyone else's that were watching Eurovision that year. I've mentioned this before, but I do actually prefer "My Heart Is Refusing Me" by her, which she tried to qualify the year prior with that song. I'm absolutely obsessed with that song. From last year's the Portuguese act with Saudade. That was one of the most beautiful performances that I've witnessed in Eurovision overall, which was so different, so soft, so soulful. Of course, Conchita with Rise Like a Phoenix, like those kind of performances that in their year are kind of different from everything else. Those are usually like the ones that ring to me.
And have you been following the selections this year at all in other countries? Heard any of the already
Um,
selected songs?
I've heard like like a couple of songs. I have not been that invested yet. I'll definitely check it all out after the Lithuanian Pabandom is over. But right now, I just want to stay a little bit more focused.
But of the ones that you have heard, were there any that you particularly stood out for you that you liked, or
I've heard the Norwegian. They've selected a girl with like a really powerful, like Viking type of song and performance, which I've really enjoyed. Yeah,
so Lithuania has never won the contest.
yeah.
It's never come top five. What do you personally think Lithuania needs to do to break through that barrier?
It's really hard to say because I don't think there is a certain like a recipe. Like if we knew it, we would definitely use it. But I don't know. We've definitely sent various kind of songs and performances and artists. It's really hard to say. It's hard for Lithuania because I think it there's a little bit of politics that involve that are involved in Eurovision, let's be honest there. But I don't know. It's a really good question, but it's a hard question because we I don't, I don't want to insult anybody or say something negative, but it seems like we as a little country, we sometimes are more shy, I would say, and we don't always bring that that confidence or like star power to the big stage, to the Eurovision stage. Yeah, I think that would be like one of the factors, I'd say. But I'm definitely proud of especially the recent years of what Lithuania has offered.
So of what Lithuania's offered, are there what's your favorite one?
Uh, I have two, which would be Monica from last year. I've absolutely loved that performance and that song because it was just a class act. It was definitely different from everything that year and from everything that Lithuania has done so far. And also Donny Montel in 2016, which is one of the like he inspires me as an artist with his like professionalism. That's a pro.
So with you liking Sentimentai was of course in Lithuanian.
Yeah,
Um, Lithuania doesn't sound a lot in Lithuanian.
true.
What was it that prompted you to send it in English as opposed to like Sentimentai in Lithuanian?
Uh, I didn't even really think about that because to me, I don't know, it comes naturally, but most of my music I write it in English. I don't know why it is like that. I often get questions from other people. Sometimes I ask myself why that is. Maybe it's because I listen to more music that's in English. Maybe that's why it comes more naturally. But yeah, I mean, if it did happen, if I wrote a song in Lithuanian, which I thought would be worth uh the Eurovision, I would definitely try that out. Why not?
Um, so excluding the prospect of winning and representing
Yeah.
Lithuania, what do you really hope most to get out of the experience of being in Pabandom?
I think my main goal is to find my listener, to find my viewer, because I came to Pabandom as well, not as known. Let's put it that, yeah, as some of the other artists. I was a no name. Let's call it that. So yeah, my main goal is to find a listener that would enjoy my music, to whom I could sing, I could write, and um, most importantly, start performing and invite them to my concerts and etc.
So flash forward to this Saturday.
Yeah.
If Augusta announced that you've won, how do you think you'd celebrate?
If what, sorry?
If Augusta announced that you've won,
Oh,
how do you think you'd celebrate?
oh, I have no idea. I would probably celebrate with my with my friends and family. I'm not a big party guy. Yeah, I'm more of a closed circle kind of person, but yeah, I mean that would be huge. That would be insane. I would definitely need like a a a week or two to like get back to the real world. But it's always a possibility. You never know.
So now that brings us to the end of the interview, but I do have one final question for you. I did originally
Yeah.
write if you could collaborate with any musician, but I feel I know what the answer would be based on your answer to the first question. Am I correct in that assumption?
Yeah, yeah, you're kind of correct. I don't know how our sounds would work together, but I would definitely be really, really interested in that. That would be like probably the I don't think that after that, I don't know if anything could ever top that moment, if that were to happen.
Well, for a lesser moment then, are there any Lithuanian musicians that you would love to collaborate with? Both
Oh, definitely, definitely. Yeah, there are some artists who I enjoy listening to, like Jessica Shy. I don't know how much you're familiar with Lithuanian artists, but there's
um,
definitely like
fairly well, but a little
Justina.
bit iffy.
Yeah, so Jessica Shy, Justinas Jarutis, those are some of the names that I enjoy listening to, and I would think that our sounds or voices would work together quite well.
Thank you so much. So that's all we have time for. Just a reminder that you will be able to watch Mario open the Pabandom final on the 18th February with the song Do What You Do. And the song will be available to listen to and can be found in the links below in our bio. You can also follow him on Marius Kauskas on Instagram, Mario Yunus Music on Twitter and TikTok, and Mero Junes on Facebook. Thank you so much for joining me today, and sick mess for Saturday.
Thank you for having me. Bye bye.